In today's video, we are going to learn about fractions, number one. Number two is pictorial representation of fraction. How do we represent the fraction through a diagram? That is number two. And number three is equivalent fractions. So we will learn them step by step. So what are fractions? Just take a look at these numbers: 5 over 7, 3 over 4, 4 over 3, 7 over 4. When we represent the numbers in this way, we call them fractions. The number written at the top is called numerator, and the number written at the bottom is called denominator. So you must have observed in some of the fractions numerator is less than denominator, and in some of the fractions numerator is greater than denominator. For example, in this fraction, first fraction, numerator is smaller than denominator. Here also numerator is less than denominator, but here numerator is greater than denominator. And here also numerator is greater than denominator. We call these fractions where numerators are less than denominator proper fraction. Proper fraction. You must remember these names because these will be used frequently in the coming lectures. And when numerator is greater than denominator, then these are called improper fractions. Improper fractions. I hope so far everything is clear to you. Now in the next slide we will learn how do we represent these fractions with the help of a picture, a diagram. Now here, as you see in this first diagram, we have a circle which has been divided into 4 equal parts. First part, second part, third part, and fourth part. And if I shade just one part like this, and I ask you in the first diagram how many parts are shaded, you will say 1. And how many total parts are there? 4. So we represent is using the picture like this. If only one part is shaded, it will be represented as 1 by 4. If 2 parts are shaded, that would be 2 by 4, and so on. Let us try to understand this diagram. This has been divided into 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you, for example, just consider shading 3 equal parts, like from here to here, if you shade these 3 parts, so what should be the fractional representation? It would be, total is 8, so 8 will come in the denominator, and how many are shaded? So 3. So we will say 3 by 8 is the fractional representation of this shaded region. I hope it is clear. Coming to the next diagram, this diagram, here we have divided this square into 16 equal parts. If you count them, you will find there are 16 equal parts. Now if you shade just one part, we will call it 1 by 16. If you shade 2 parts, we will call that 2 by 16. If you shade 4 parts, we will call them 4 by 16. If you shade 4, 4, and total is 8 now. So total shade, we have shaded 8 parts, which is 8 by 16. So this is how we represent. And finally 8 by 16, if you cancel them, 8 1s are 8 and 8 2s are 16. So it is 1 by 2. I will explain in detail about how to cancel. Just understand here right now that you can represent it by 8 by 16. So can you tell me in this figure, if I shade these 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, how many squares are shaded and how do you represent the shaded portion in fractional form in this case? Thank you, and we will now learn about equivalent fractions. As you can see here, I have taken 2 by 3 as any fraction, and I want to find out its equivalent fractions. So for finding the equivalent fraction, you simply need to multiply the numerator and denominator by any number. Like we can multiply it by 2, numerator and denominator both by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 2 is 6. So we can say 4 by 6 is the equivalent fraction of 2 by 3. In a similar way, if we have to find any other equivalent fraction, you can multiply by 3. So 2 times 3 here, 2 times 3 gives you 6. I multiply the denominator by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. You have to be careful that you have to multiply by the same number in the numerator and denominator. So if you can in this way find out infinite number of equivalent fraction by multiplying 4, 5, 6 and 7. Can you tell me if I write 14 and 21, is this also an equivalent fraction of 2 by 3? You have just to write in the comment section yes or no. 14 by 21. Now, in this topic you will come across questions like any fraction is given and you will be asked to write 3 equivalent fractions. For example, here you can see I have written 5 by 7 and the question is write 3 equivalent fractions of. So you can again multiply by any number. So for here again I am taking 2 for numerator and denominator. So multiply 5 and 2, it is 10. Multiply 7 and 2, it is 14. It is first equivalent fraction. Then you can again write another equivalent fraction by multiplying 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 3 is 21. Again you can take any number. So I will take 4. So 4 times 4, 5 times 4 is 20 and 7 times 4 is 28. So these are called the equivalent fractions. As I told earlier, there can be infinite number of equivalent fractions of any given fraction, because you can multiply with any number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000 likewise. So far I hope everything is clear. Sometimes in this topic you come across these type of questions which you can see on the whiteboard. Write the missing number. So 2 by 3 equals to 6 by. So I mean 6 by what? So which number should come in this blank box? So how to find which number will come? No doubt these are equivalent fraction. So 2 by 3 is a fraction whose equivalent fraction you have to find. So if you see 6 has come because you multiply 2 and 3, you get 6. So since numerator has been multiplied by 3, denominator is also to be multiplied by 3 and you get 9 here. I repeat, in the numerator you find 6, then if you check you will see 6 is 2 times 3. So denominator will also be the same, as denominator has the number 3. So multiply 3 and 3 and you will get 9. So number here that will be filled in this box is 9. Another method is, I will explain second method of finding this. So just have a look at this question. 4 by 5 is here, and you are asked to find what is the number here. So there is one other method which you can also use. You cross multiply these two. So 4 times 25, you are getting 100. Now again, you don't know what number will come here. So 5 times what number will come here, that will give you the same. 4 times 25 is 100, and this should also be 100. So which number to be timed with 5 to get 100? So answer would be 20. 5 times 20 is 100. But whatever method you find comfortable with, you can use it, the same method. Here also, if you apply the first method, you can see here 5 times 5 is 25. So 4 times 5, as I told you, you have to multiply both numerator and denominator by the same number. So 4 times 5 will be 20. So both ways you are getting the same answer. Whichever method is easy, you can follow that method. Now you will get some questions that you have to solve based on the concept that I have given you just now. In this question, you are asked find the missing number. So the blank space has to be filled with the number. Now check. Here it is 3 and here it is 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. So you have to find 2 times 2, and that will give you 4. This is how you will solve these questions. Similarly, take any question, for example, 5 times 2 is 10. So 7 times 2 will give you 40. So you have to do all these questions and write the answer with their numbers in the comment section. Thank you very much.